is everybody? Even the least sexualized of Ash's female traveling companions prior to Gen 6 is still somewhat sexualized by having a skirt this short. This generation's so slow. Yeah, this is one of the reasons I have a love-hate relationship with Barry. It's a shame we'll never see this game in actual 3D because someone decided that the remake should spend more time nostalgia pandering than actually having proper graphics. I'm not saying the remakes will be bad, just not worth the wait. Barry doesn't think to maybe climb up these ledges, and I'm still not convinced they're too high to climb. Rowan Ex Machina. Barry's dance is so obnoxious. The stat lowering effect is quite a downgrade from Gen 3 where the colors were different depending on what stat was being lowered. After beating trainers, you might not get enough time to read their dialogue. Shoes come with instructions. Who knew? The running shoes aren't as fast as they used to be. A sign that this generation, while fun, is kinda slow. Barry thinks he can capture a legendary Pokemon already. Unlike Diamond and Pearl, which somewhat foreshadows Cyrus's evil behavior, this game instantly tells you he's evil. Sanjim's music is just weird. I think I know what that was. Mentally insane. Rowan doesn't know how to stack books. 90 seconds of capture tutorial. Yeah, you definitely should have weakened it more. I don't need Burmy that much, but I do agree that it, as well as its evolutions, are useless. What do you mean by doing it? On second thought, I probably don't want to know. That explains why everyone forgot about it 4 years later. People are still stupid enough to block our way without even giving us a good reason. I hate these kind of NPCs. Of course we're going to use the old rod in the water. Where did you think we try to fish? In the garbage? Spoilers, it's not. Kricketot is useless. Its only move, Bide, takes 3 turns to charge. What do you mean, finish so soon? You have 4 Pokemon. I don't think we beat them that soon. Badline got the badge that early? I mean, sure, water is strong against rock, but Rourke's quite a bit stronger, and Psyduck can't even learn any water moves until level 9. Monferno kept a trend going of constant firefighting starters. I needed tour guide that serves no purpose other than to take us to the gym, when we would have gotten there faster by ourselves anyway. This guy only gives 4 options for your favorite type of trainer. Some genius decided it should be possible to skip Rourke's trainers. I wouldn't complain if you could still fight gym trainers after beating their leader. Couldn't they find a less shoehorned way to tell us that Granados has Mold Breaker? Like Granados is ready to break through other abilities or something like that? Well, what did you expect? It's called being a first gym leader. Route 203's night theme could have sounded better. Evil character convinces good guy to surrender or let someone they care about get hurt cliche. You're being attacked and the first thing you talk about is our Pokédex? Stunky's name is so dumb. Madness? This is Sparta! Do Pokemon even like being treated as dress-up dolls? Tyler has a lot of faith in the Magikarp, one that isn't even halfway to evolving yet. A cherry Pokemon? Really? Yeah, you won't be able to explain the charms of bug Pokemon when your Wurmple and Kricketot should have evolved by now. Floroma Town's really nice. The Whale Repel was cooler than the Spray Duck. The saving a lot of data feature is arguably the worst. It can take nearly a minute. I know they had no choice or something, but this still bothers me enough to give 5 cents. These windmills are too low. They could cut someone's head. I would have complimented how this guy doesn't let you in just because you beat him, but then he tells you where the key is. Catching Pokemon in honey trees is tedious. You have to wait 24 hours before coming back. If only we did have an Inkling with us, it could shoot paint at their machines. Oh wait, wrong game. I kinda agree with Mars. Sharon's not very interesting. Heck, considering the other commanders' names, I bet the only reason he wasn't named Uranus is because people would make that obvious joke and he wouldn't be taken seriously. Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing that you got lost on a linear path. I like Cheryl and her performance got my hopes up for her appearance in the anime, and while she's likable there, she sometimes annoyed me with her grandfather's stupid phrases, such as, seeing a Beedrill means you have to go alone, and you can never touch the hand of a man again after you catch a bug Pokemon. I swear he must have been a crazy old man. Teaming up with Cheryl is definitely awesome, and I appreciate that our Pokemon are healed between battles. But you have to defeat one of the enemy Pokemon before throwing a ball. I'm guessing it's because of limitations, but it's still annoying. Why does Burmy have a trash cloak? That reeks of dumb ideas. Couldn't this grass-type gym be in Floroma, the town full of flowers, instead of this backwater town? Dialkia statue. Thanks for the advice, Barry. It won't do any good because move accuracy is luck-based. Rogue's kind of right. How do we not know by our surroundings that this is underground? You don't get enough time to read this message. It's possible for your friends to steal your spheres after you bury them. What do clocks have to do with grass-type gyms or with Gardenia's character. I bet it would be possible to walk over the fountains. You just get very wet, that's all. Gardenia is best grass-type waifu, but she can't even evolve her Turtwig? I still love secret bases, but you can't battle friends in their bases anymore. Looker blows his cover in front of this grunt. Krogun's Platinum entry says it's as popular as a mascot, yet it's not one of the most popular Sinnoh Pokemon. Once again, someone succeeded at stealing someone's Pokemon. I love how these wrong passageways are supposed to lead to traps, but the dead ends are viewable before the grunts even see us. So the ones that want to destroy the world want world peace. Now we found the Team Galactic waifu. Skuntank's sprite in this game is disgusting. The old Chateau is creepy, but what's with these perfectly fine looking plants? Why are Roton's forms event exclusive? There's no excuse. Not really. These random grass patches are pointless because this route's full of them. Instead of a fire type like Magmar, Cyclor Axo uses Pikachu, which you'd expect from someone named Larxene. Wait, it's not safe to walk on Cycling Road, but it's okay to fight on it? A Pokemon game has a P joke. Why? What a jerk! Who set up tightropes in a cave? And how can you bike on them? We're not circus actors. It's so easy to get lost in Wayward Cave. Even the double battles where you team up with Mira can be wasted because you'll probably have faced all the double battles before you find her. And don't even get me started on if you're not using Flash. I wish we could call the police on this stupid thief. Diego is such a heartless brat. Doesn't he care if we get lost here forever and die? Lorenzo ate some mushrooms that he saw out in the open. That doesn't sound very smart. The Shorts kid is still here, but his name changed again. He was Ben, then Reggie's, and now Austin? Or was Ben/Reggie so popular that Austin wanted to be like him? Medicine made from Gabite scales can cure diseases. How does that happen with a Landshark Pokemon? Dawn's a bit of a troll to the player. I love the new evolutions of old Pokemon, but do we really need all these pre-evolved ones? Male Combees are useless. Why would you give Snacks for Pokemon a name that sounds scary like Puffin? You should give it a name that sounds delicious. Shoehorn didn't wait for us to learn Joanna's name. How does eating dry food make you more beautiful? The themes for these contests are way too confusing and vague. If appealing to Dexter gives you more points than the other two, what's the point of the other two judges? Amity Square, which allows cute Pokemon, doesn't allow Eevee or Togepi, but it allows Psyduck? What kind of black magic do these people have to make these mud houses teleport you? Because that would scare us. Fantina no longer uses Drifblim, her signature Pokemon, and the one that her dress resembles. Well, at least Fantina's not weird and creepy like in the anime. Isn't it disrespectful to have a Pokemon battle in a Pokemon Center? I mean, this is where people go to heal Pokemon, right? Is there any reason for Albert to carry these Pokeballs in a bucket? Who has the patience to keep going underground and talking to people, then resurfacing and repeating 32 times to get Spiritomb? Again, I don't hate Burmy as much as I should, but Burmy's concept is wasted if it's a male, since no matter what cloak it had before it evolved, it always ends up being the same. According to Motham's Pokédex entry, Motham is a jerk to Combi. I do feel bad for Roughneck Kirby and how he was robbed by Team Galactic, but I guess now he knows how his enemies feel whenever you copy their moves and use them against them, and even gain hats that look like said opponents. Leonard's team just feels like it was there to troll us. Instead of having a team of Pichu, Pikachu, and Raichu, he uses Pikachu and two Pichus. I mean, by this point, we've already fought on Miss Magius, so what's wrong with using Raichu? Bob is supposed to be Beth's father, yet their Ponyta are at the same level. Pokekid Aereo doesn't look like a mermaid. This translates to, all lives touch other lives to create something new and alive. Just let people's dirty minds wander off on that one. I do think that Defog is cooler than Flash, but it's also basically the same as Flash when used on the overworld, except with a different effect. Who would build a house here? It's going to be a major inconvenience to whoever lives there. Elekid doesn't even have any fur, and I'm not sure Happiny really has any either. Something about Matt's laugh gives me the creeps. Why are you serving Pokeballs on a tray? What is wrong with you? What's this black belt doing just staring at this tree? What's the point of watering plants if it's raining outside? How can you even tell if you're sweating or if that's the rain? I guess that the name Ace Trainer sounds better than Cool Trainer, but the name could get us worried over nothing, since it makes these trainers sound like they're far stronger than you. I hate to break it to this gentleman, but Rage Candy Bars aren't all that useful. How this song became as overrated as it is, I'll never know. What's this game going for with the whole Team Galactic owns this game corner thing? I mean, seriously, is it for that sweet nostalgia? If so, then at least in Gen 1, it actually had the Team Rocket hideout be connected to it, but here there's no real connection other than how the logo's here and how they're in the same town. I hope Crasher Wake's singing doesn't sound bad. Maybe it's because I don't do karate, but the way the karate quads yell out these words seems almost weird. Why did these grunts even go through the trouble of stealing our friend's Pokédex if they don't have any use for it? Is it just to briefly inconvenience them? How stupid do you think we are, Abigail? Maybe I'm taking this too seriously, but what's the point of flipping a coin to determine something when we're going to battle no matter what? What's the point of Carnivine having the levitate ability if it already resists ground type moves? When did I say I would teach you about Pokemon? With a name like Devon, I'm surprised she isn't from Rustboro City. Again, I don't hate Burmy, but War Madam's typings have already been done before. The only one I would even see as necessary is its ground form, because in Kata, the only other bug ground, becomes bug flying upon evolution. Will be no easy matter? You already lost! How does this Ruined Maniac even know if we're interested in catching the unknown? What do you mean, they're rare? All you had was one Porygon. I understand this woman is looking for her sweet key, but why is she just standing here instead of, I don't know, looking for it? At least this guy has a reason to block the way to Sunnyshow City because they're fixing a blackout, but that doesn't explain why he also needs to block Route 222. You can only hear one of these duos' dialogue before battling them. I thought this game learned from that. Kricketune may look cool, but its stats are worthless. Well, at least it inspired one of the cutest characters in Pokemon Journeys. Roman and Kylie say the same thing when defeated. Well, that's kinda creepy. No need to be rude. This song is so boring. The Great Marsh has the same annoying mechanics that the Safari Zone has. This fat guy makes this really confusing. Wasn't this supposed to be that when a Pokemon is eating, it's harder to catch but less likely to flee? What, does Wake become furious with and or clobber people who don't call him Crasher Wake instead of Wake? Maybe this guy's not the kind of guy I'd want to spend the day with. Maybe I'm a bit naive, but I feel Clyde could have done a better job at telling people that fire and ground are weak to water. Finally! A dual normal type that isn't psychic or flying! However, its Pokédexes can swim as fast as Feebas, yet not only is Feebas faster than it also has Swift Swim while this one doesn't. I wonder what would happen if you raised the water level when another challenger was in the gym and they happened to be on the bottom floor. Speaking of which, I bet someone could take the easy way out if they were just on this platform and waited for someone to hit the blue button before letting them get all the way up to Crasher Wake. Mudshot looks disgusting in this game. When a bomb sounds worded like BOOM! I can't take that seriously. The grunt says he didn't set off the bomb, then says he's the one who set it off, expecting us to obey him. Stop distracting us, Looker. You're letting the grunt get away. I'm surprised we even catch him. This bothers me. Making Cynthia pointlessly stutter like this makes it look like she forgot what hands are. I know Cynthia's not stupid. Sean says Route 212 was flooded until it dried up. You've got your global warming backwards. How are yellow shard moves used for status effects? Outrage confuses the user, Uproar cures sleep, and the others don't even guarantee status inflictions. And I'm not sure flinching's even a real status ailment. And it doesn't mention green shards. Hey, that's the exact name I came up with for an evolution as a kid, though they had a much better idea for it than I did. So I'll send this for reminding me of my terrible idea. Beating you means we're kind? By that logic, Silver and Paul also treat Pokemon nicely. Isn't that the song from Donkey Kong Country 3? Dylan never gets breaks while other policemen take over? This guy's boss is terrible. How are we supposed to beat these trainer maids in a specific amount of turns? Apparently touching the statue at night does something. Except nothing happens. Manaphy is only obtainable through a discontinued event, so making it required to see to upgrade the Pokédex serves no purpose other than to raise a middle finger at us with a Pokemon we'll never get. I think Sinnoh just hit a new record for brattiest and largest amount of sore losers in one region. Probopass looks kinda weird. DeVito has no hint of where he's hiding like with most Ninja Boys. Cyrus's question almost sounds like a double negative. Contradictory statement. Jessica's right. How can we not swim like these swimmers? Corey thinks he's Salvatore from Wind Waker. This game's surf theme is deceiving. It sounds like it's in a concert E when it's actually an A. If Mantyke's back design differs from each region, why are all of its back sprites the same? What's the point of locking the ability for your Pokédex to see both male and female Pokemon differences until now? Empoleon, with its 60 speed, is said to swim as fast as a jet boat. This book shows that Pokemon actually choose to give people chances to catch them, and they're the ones who gave humans this idea. That is nice, but I feel like Jack Thompson's suck-ups will accuse Game Freak of coming up with excuses. Steelix looks dumb with his mouth open like this. And that's a problem with this game's sprites. They don't look good. That sounds somewhat grating. Caesar said the N-word in a kid's game. I love how you say Rourke has a lot to learn when you have just as few Pokemon as him, despite being the 6th gym leader. Unlike the previous generations, you can't explore inside the ship. They don't make it clear enough that Iron Island's mandatory to beat the game. How is it odd that you're training here? Why would Lawrence think we have a problem with him camping? I'm glad Maurice is handling his loss well, but is he really that excited about losing? Physical threats. These two's names should have been switched to match their gender. I feel weird looking at Hippopotamus sprite. The lineup of its snout looks like its mouth. I thought it just had a huge chin until I saw its animated sprite. I know what it would be like. Really annoying, since the battle would go on forever because of the resistances. Are these grunts being put in the wrong for taking the Pokemon? Is this game saying catching Pokemon on an Iron Island is wrong? First Icefall Cave, and now this? If we're not allowed to catch Pokemon here, don't let us catch Pokemon here. This lift just magically appeared out of the ground. It leaves no space behind. Barry shouted in the library. Barry didn't get his Pokédex before he left the lab? I think I might actually feel a bit of sympathy for him, going on a journey without a Pokédex. Gee, thanks, implying I'm not a tough trainer. Lake Valor's been blown up and drained, but we also see that the cave was beneath a lake. That means it would have to be completely submerged normally, but it's not submerged when the lakes return to normal. What do you mean? You weren't even there when we raided the Galactic Building. What's with Saturn's hair? Was he raised by cats? Not very smart of this grunt to tell us he's stalling. Even prior to Gen 6, they still find a way to ship us with Dawn even though she's underaged. Not that I minded back then. She was my replacement waifu after May left, but as an adult, it's sinful. I love how you say again and again when this is only our second time beating you. This goes on for way too long. Feebas is still annoying to find. It took long enough to get an actual snowy field level. I'm guessing you won't get along with Elsa. It's official, Game Freak is obsessed with monkeys. Seriously, game, why bother giving us our first ever female fighting type gym leader to promote female empowerment if you make Maylene act like a weakling here anyway? Can Matthew even survive being buried in snow in a blizzard? This part takes a while to cross. Was Barry just waiting for us by that cliff instead of, I don't know, chasing Team Galactic like you're supposed to? I doubt our body weight's enough to break these big snowballs. I'm surprised an ace trainer with a name like Savannah works in an ice type gym. I don't mind Candace, but they don't really do enough with her character to make her feel more like an ice type leader. Jupiter is telling us how to stop them. Despite how it can apparently fly to places, Fly is one of the only HM moves Garchomp can't use. This item's been taunting us for a while now. Now we finally have it, and it's a full incense. This is a cool building, but also feels so much like the Silphico building it's not funny. Okay, there is no way Cyrus is only 27 years old. Sure, we should let you do terrible things in peace. How does Cyrus have a Crobat? You can only evolve Golbat if you're nice to it, and Cyrus sees Pokemon as just tools of war. Why do you think Ghetsis doesn't have one? You couldn't come up with a better nearly defeated line than my last Pokemon? It feels awkward having Cyrus not be the last one we face in their hideout. I understand Saturn believes they have no more use for the Lake Trio, but how's he sure freeing them won't come back to bite them later? What town could he be from that's full of dragon tamers? I don't think there are really any in the Sinnoh region. Was a cave painting really the best way to block the way to the summit? You really think that just telling us to join you will make us join you? This mountain is awesome with how massive it is. I'm surprised you're not letting us stick around so you can kill us along with the rest of the world. You don't have any Pokemon? Then how are you unharmed by wild Pokemon? This battle is sweet. However, is a 12 against 6 battle really fair? This is pretty creepy, but nowhere near as intense as the scene in Diamond and Pearl where chaos spread throughout the region. This place honestly gives me a massive headache because of the grating music and all the aimless wandering here. Oh, sick burn, Cynthia. Weavile's cool, but also somewhat overrated like Gallade. How could I lose, Cliché? Then just wait until Yveltal. Isn't the distortion world already distorted? I hope I'm not the only one who finds Giratina's theme overrated. I do love Giratina itself though. Also people, stop calling Giratina the devil. It helps stop Cyrus from destroying the world. What's with this incomplete bridge? Was it built to be some fancy diving board? Unlike the previous professors, Professor Rowan doesn't care about how many Pokemon you've caught. I can barely see these climbable walls. Game thinks kids will know what the heck Dodrums are. People always talk about Gardevoir being over-sexualized, but Lapa needs much more sexualized than that. This long path leads to nothing. Why did Alec only evolve one of his Magikarp and leave the other unevolved when it's already twice its evolutionary level? Tap Toys. A Munchlax rack? That's a weird design choice for a city by the ocean. I wasn't laughing at you! This electric beam deceives you into thinking you can't pass it even though you can. Minion is a pretty dazzling Pokemon, but the fact that it crawls on the seafloor with its long fins kind of takes away from that. And yes, I know there are some fish that do that in real life, but hey, gotta send stuff. Giving Rule 34 more material. Is there any reason for Mantine to no longer have a Remoraid by it? It's about as annoying as it is here, if not worse. Crystal kind of has a point. How the heck is Wake Up Slap a fighting type move? Unlike the past generations which have their own name for the town where the Pokemon League is, this place is just called Pokemon League, a problem that would be fixed until Gen 7. I feel this song could have been a little better, especially the night version. Mamoswine's tusks are made of ice, but that means they can melt, thus crippling it for life. Some Pokemon spend their entire lives on Torterra's back. I hope Torterra isn't bothered by that. Dusknoir has a mouth on its stomach, which I bet must be very uncomfortable. Valencia tells us she can see our past, yet she doesn't know if we met any legendary Pokemon before. I love all these new evolutions to old Pokemon, but I'm sitting them because it caused a bunch of nincompoops to whine about it, and as a result, we stopped getting new evolutions to old Pokemon ever since then, unless you count Sylveon, which only existed to promote the Fairy type, or the Galar forms, which barely count because the original forms didn't get any. Of course you have that silly grin on you. It's the expression you always have with your sprite. Discount Ronald McDonald. What's with Flint's stupid grin here? Flint's team was lame in the originals because he only had 2 fire types, but now this is a major improvement. McMortar's body takes on the whitish hue when launching 3600 degree fireballs. That sounds cool, but we never actually see this happen. You don't have much to say after the battle? There's something about Gallite's cry that I find strange. Don't you dare call me a feminist for this, but I'm removing 3 cents for finally being fair to women and giving us a female champion. However, this fight's not as hard to me as it was to everyone else, though that's probably because I used to spam revives during battles. So that's what happened to Thomas's old whistle. Sorry if you're annoyed with me talking about that more often. Cynthia stays behind and watches us take the lift, but then she's up here with us. I know the lift could have gone back down, but if it did, that was quick. Are we biking all the way home from the league? That's going to be a super exhausting bike ride. And are we biking across the water too? These Wingles look massive. They may look normal sized, but they're way above our head and still look that size. Unlike the previous minor legendary trios, the Lake Trio has the same typing and almost look the exact same too. Darkrai's a cool Pokemon, but it appearing at the top of Fawful's Minions top 100 caused everyone to completely overmilk his emotional speech about it, and it's probably what we have to blame for all these annoying emotional endings to some modern countdowns. I know Darkrai casts people into nightmares to protect itself, but I've heard it's trying to trap people in eternal nightmares. No self-protection justifies that. Oh no. 5 roaming legendaries? What is wrong with Buck's overworld sprite? Because of how similar he looks to the Battle Girls, it took me a couple years to learn that he's a boy. Bestiality. You're creepy. Is this stupid old lady senile? How would dressing up multiple times at once do any good? Discount Dragon Roost Island. These grunts didn't see us despite technically looking our way. Also, this one stands on the other one's head for a bit. Other than evolving the Bronzors, Mars and Jupiter's teams haven't changed much. I don't like teaming up with Buck. Not that I hate him, but he's a complete hindrance here, because you can't use Rock Climb until he leaves, making navigating here a nuisance. I think I agree with Sharon for once. They don't try to escape when the volcano is probably erupting. Looker's rock disguise is smaller than him. I'd be upset that we couldn't fight Sharon, but I don't care about him anyway. Awakening Heatran would make Stark Mountain erupt? That means Sharon would have died if he awakened Heatran. Not very well thought out. Heatran's smaller than it looks. We don't get sand in our eyes and clothes from the sandstorm. And it doesn't blow us off the tightrope. I'm still a bit unsure of if we're being scammed or not. We get a free Vila, but still have to spend a fortune on all this stuff. I knew it was too good to be true. Maybe we shouldn't tell her about Gorgeist. We weren't interfering with your treasure hunting. We were just minding our own business and then you came and scolded us. What is wrong with you? I like this shout out to Destiny Deaxys because it's my favorite Pokemon movie. Yes, I said it, haters. But the stupid translators got her name wrong. It's Rebecca, not Jamie. Shaman's a cool Pokemon, but it also reminds me of its bratty appearance in the Giratina movie, despite being called the Gratitude Pokemon. Fione's the worst legendary ever. It's just a weaker Manaphy that can't even evolve into it despite being born from it. Arceus doesn't have 1,000 arms like his Pokédex description says. We had to wait 2 years to fight Caitlyn, let alone learn why we couldn't fight her. And sadly, 4 of the 5 Frontier Brains had to join the club of characters who got left out of the anime, along with Wally, Emma, and pretty much everyone in Galar.